Did you know that in the past 18 months, over 38,000 Australians over the age of 55 have either left the country permanently or are actively preparing to leave by 2026? And here's the kicker. Many of them aren't talking about it publicly. Why? Because they're following a growing list of unspoken rules. Economic shifts, hidden policy changes, aged care costs, even climate risks, all driving seniors to make one of the biggest decisions of their lives, to leave Australia. And before you say, that won't affect me, think again. These changes are already in motion, and if you're not paying attention, you could be caught off guard. So in this video, we'll uncover the 10 key rules every senior is watching, and why 2026 could be the deadline. Stick around, rule number 10 might just change your plans entirely. Number 10. The psychological shift. This isn't the Australia I grew up in. For many older Australians, the decision to leave isn't just about money, healthcare, or taxes. It's about something deeper. There's a growing feeling among seniors that Australia simply doesn't feel like home anymore. It's a quiet but powerful emotional shift, and it's pushing thousands to consider starting fresh somewhere else. You'll hear it in casual conversations, at retirement dinners, or whispered between old friends. This isn't the Australia I grew up in. The rising cost of living, the rapid pace of technological change, the decline of face-to-face services, and even the transformation of once familiar neighborhoods are all contributing to this sense of alienation. Once close-knit communities have become fragmented. Simple tasks, like booking a doctor's appointment or paying a bill, now require navigating complex online systems that many older Australians find frustrating and impersonal. Add to that the increased political tension, a perceived rise in crime, and an overwhelming sense that everything is moving too fast, and suddenly the dream of retiring peacefully at home begins to feel distant. But here's the twist. It's not just about loss, it's also about hope. Many retirees are discovering that starting over in a slower-paced, more community-driven country can reignite their sense of belonging. In places like Portugal, Thailand, or New Zealand, seniors report feeling more welcomed, more respected, and, most importantly, more at peace. So while this psychological shift may feel unsettling, it's also a wake-up call. It's a sign that it's okay to want something different. Maybe your ideal retirement isn't where you thought it would be, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to go find it. Because sometimes, the most powerful reason to leave isn't fear or finances, it's freedom. Number 9. Better retirement benefits abroad. Let's face it, retiring in Australia isn't as affordable as it used to be. Between rising living expenses, stretched healthcare services, and limited pension increases, many seniors are finding it harder to make ends meet. But what if you could retire in a country where your money goes further, your lifestyle improves, and you're actually rewarded for retiring there? That's not a dream. It's the reality in several countries offering better retirement benefits than Australia. Take Portugal, for example. It's become a retirement hotspot not just for the warm weather and relaxed lifestyle, but because of its tax-friendly policies for foreign retirees. Many expats pay little to no tax on their pension income for up to 10 years. In Panama, retirees receive up to 25% off utility bills, 50% off entertainment, and even discounts on medical services through their Pensionado visa program. Countries like Thailand, Ecuador, and Malaysia also offer retirement visa programs that are specifically designed to attract foreign seniors. These programs often include long-term residency, access to affordable private healthcare, and fast-track services for visas and renewals. And the best part, in many of these places, your Australian pension still applies. And it stretches much further thanks to the lower cost of living. Imagine living in a spacious apartment, hiring part-time help, eating fresh meals daily, and still saving money every month, all while enjoying a warm climate and vibrant local culture. Of course, no move should be made lightly, but if you're planning for the future, it's worth comparing what other countries are offering. You might discover that a better quality of life, greater financial freedom, and real retirement benefits are just a plane ride away. Because sometimes retiring abroad isn't about escaping, it's about upgrading. Number 8. Tightening immigration laws for re-entry. One of the most overlooked risks for Australians retiring abroad is this: what happens if you want to come back and can't? Many seniors assume they can leave Australia, live overseas for a few years, and return anytime without issue. But with immigration policies tightening globally, the ability to re-enter your home country isn't always guaranteed, especially if you've been living abroad for an extended period. During the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of Australians were locked out of the country for months, and in some cases, over a year, due to strict border policies. Seniors in particular struggled with visa expiration issues, health insurance gaps, and flight access. And while the pandemic may be behind us, it served as a clear warning: citizenship doesn't always guarantee smooth re-entry. If you give up your permanent residence or fail to meet certain stay requirements, you could be forced to reapply for visas or lose certain entitlements, including access to Medicare or age pension payments, and the rules are changing fast. There are growing concerns that future policy shifts could limit entitlements for long-term overseas retirees, especially those no longer contributing to the local economy. Governments around the world, including Australia, are beginning to closely track expat behavior, especially when it comes to tax declarations and time spent in country. The bottom line? Living abroad may come with hidden conditions for your return. So before making that big move overseas, do your homework. Speak to a migration agent, review your visa and pension rules, and have a clear re-entry plan in place, because once you leave, the door may not open as easily as you think. In retirement, freedom of movement is everything. Don't wait until it's too late to come home. Number 7. Cost of living. Index rising sharply. For decades, Australia has been seen as one of the best places in the world to live. Clean, safe, and full of opportunity. But today, for many seniors, just surviving month to month is becoming a struggle. The reason? The cost of living index is rising at one of the fastest rates in recent memory, and retirees are feeling the pinch more than anyone else. From groceries to rent, electricity to petrol, everything seems to be going up, except the age pension. According to recent data, basic household expenses have surged by over 20% in just the past 3 years, while pension adjustments haven't even come close to keeping pace. That means your money is losing value, and your retirement plans are shrinking in real time. Take groceries, for example. What used to cost $100 a week now often totals $130 or more for the exact same items. Electricity bills are skyrocketing. Even modest rentals in regional areas have jumped to record highs. And with no signs of major relief ahead, many seniors are starting to look outside of Australia for answers. In countries like Vietnam, Mexico, or the Philippines, expats report living comfortably on 40 to 60% less than what they'd spend in Australia. That includes housing, healthcare, food, and even social activities. It's not about living in poverty, it's about living well, for less. For many, the question isn't, can I afford to live overseas? It's becoming, can I afford to stay here? If you're already cutting back on essentials, skipping travel, or constantly dipping into your savings, it might be time to reevaluate where your retirement dollars will stretch the furthest. Because the reality is this: Australia is getting more expensive every year, and fast. Number 6. Climate resilience and natural disaster zones. Australia's breathtaking landscapes have always been a point of pride: golden beaches, lush forests, and peaceful rural towns. But in recent years, those same beautiful places have become increasingly vulnerable to extreme weather events, leaving many retirees questioning whether it's still safe or wise to grow old in certain parts of the country. From record-breaking bushfires in New South Wales to devastating floods in Queensland and Victoria, natural disasters are striking more frequently and with greater intensity. According to the Climate Council, Australia has experienced a 40% increase in extreme weather events over the past decade. Many areas once considered retirement havens are now marked as high-risk zones, not just environmentally, but financially. The impact goes beyond personal safety. Seniors in these areas are facing soaring home insurance premiums, often with reduced coverage or exclusions for flood or fire damage. In some regions, insurance companies are pulling out entirely, leaving homeowners with few or no affordable options. Repairs and rebuilds can take months or even years, draining retirement savings and disrupting the quiet, stable lifestyle most retirees dream of. For many, this has become the tipping point. Countries like New Zealand, Portugal, and Costa Rica offer milder, more stable climates with a significantly lower risk of natural disasters. They're becoming attractive options not just for their beauty and lifestyle perks, but for their climate resilience. Some retirees are choosing to relocate before disaster strikes, rather than waiting to pick up the pieces afterward. If you're planning your forever home, it's no longer enough to look at the view. You also need to check the climate risk map. Because when you're on a fixed income, weather damage isn't just an inconvenience, it can be financially devastating. Number 5. Family migration patterns. One of the most emotional and often unexpected reasons seniors are leaving Australia is tied to a simple but powerful truth: family comes first. In recent years, more and more younger Australians have been moving overseas, chasing better job opportunities, lower living costs, or a more balanced lifestyle. And as they settle into new lives abroad, many of their parents and grandparents are making the decision to follow them. This growing trend is called intergenerational migration, and it's changing the way seniors think about retirement. It's no longer just about where you want to live, it's about where your children and grandchildren are putting down roots. For many older Australians, the thought of spending their final decades alone or disconnected from loved ones is more unsettling than starting over in a new country. Even simple things, like being there for a grandchild's birthday, Sunday family lunches, or helping out when someone's sick, become impossible when you're half a world away. Some seniors who stayed behind during the early years of their children's overseas moves now report deep feelings of isolation, especially as travel becomes more expensive and unpredictable. On the flip side, retirees who have made the move to join their family abroad often speak of a renewed sense of purpose and connection. Whether it's babysitting the grandkids, sharing dinner traditions, or just being part of everyday moments, they feel needed, valued, and fulfilled. So if your children have moved to the UK, Canada, Europe, or Asia, and you've been on the fence about whether to follow, you're not alone. Thousands of Australian seniors are quietly making the same choice. Because at the end of the day, retirement isn't just about location, it's about love, family, and belonging. Number 4. Property price versus pension imbalance. For many Australian seniors, their home is their biggest asset. And for decades, it was seen as the golden ticket to a comfortable retirement. But in recent years, a new reality has set in. While property prices have skyrocketed, age pensions have not kept up. This growing imbalance between asset wealth and income security is forcing many retirees to ask a difficult question. Is it time to cash out and go? In cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, even modest family homes have doubled or tripled in value over the past 10-15 years. A house bought for $300,000 in the early 2000s might now be worth over $1 million. But while homeowners are technically rich on paper, their weekly pension payments remain capped and inflexible, barely covering the cost of living. This gap becomes painfully obvious when fixed expenses, like council rates, utilities, home maintenance, and insurance, continue to rise. Many retirees find themselves asset-rich but cash-poor, unable to enjoy the lifestyle their home's value suggests they can afford. And for some, the burden of keeping the property becomes a constant source of stress. That's why a growing number of seniors are choosing to sell now, while the market is still strong, and relocate overseas, to countries where they can buy a comfortable home outright and live on a fraction of the costs. Places like Spain, Bali, or rural Italy offer beautiful properties at a fraction of Australian prices, and often come with a slower pace of life that suits retirement perfectly. The key message here: don't let your house trap you. It might just be your ticket to freedom. By turning property equity into liquid cash, many retirees are finally living the lifestyle they dreamed of, just somewhere new. Number 3. Aged care system reforms. Australia's aged care system has been under the spotlight for years, and for good reason. Following the findings of the Royal Commission into Aged Care Quality and Safety, the government announced sweeping reforms aimed at improving care standards, safety, and accountability. But while these changes are absolutely necessary, they've also come with unintended consequences, especially for seniors planning their future care. Many aged care providers are now facing higher compliance costs, stricter staffing requirements, and intense scrutiny. Some smaller facilities, especially in regional areas, have been forced to close their doors or raise prices significantly just to keep up. The result? Fewer options and longer waiting lists, particularly for those who can't afford premium care. For retirees hoping to age comfortably in a facility of their choosing, this reality is both frustrating and frightening. It's no longer guaranteed that you'll have access to local, affordable, and high-quality care when the time comes. And as the population continues to age, demand is only going to increase, putting even more strain on the system. This uncertainty has led many seniors to look beyond Australia's borders, to countries offering private aged care services that are not only more affordable, but often more personal and luxurious. In places like Thailand, Malaysia, and Portugal, expat retirees report access to high-standard aged care with lower staff-to-patient ratios, better facilities, and more dignified treatment, all at a fraction of the cost. It's a confronting thought that the country you've lived in your whole life may not be able to take care of you in your most vulnerable years, but planning ahead and being open to global options can give you more control, more comfort, and more peace of mind, because in retirement, how you're cared for matters just as much as where. Number 2. Rising cost of healthcare. Australia's healthcare system has long been considered one of the best in the world, but for many retirees, that reputation no longer reflects reality. As the system becomes increasingly strained, the cost of accessing timely and adequate healthcare is rising, and seniors are being hit the hardest. While Medicare still provides a safety net, bulk billing is disappearing fast. Many GPs now charge out-of-pocket fees that aren't fully covered, especially for longer consultations, specialist appointments, dental care, physiotherapy, and essential diagnostics like MRIs can leave seniors with hundreds, sometimes thousands, in medical bills. And private health insurance? Premiums continue to climb while coverage gets narrower, leaving many to wonder, what exactly am I paying for? Even more concerning is the growing wait time for public procedures. Hip replacements, cataract surgeries, and even cancer treatments are often delayed, sometimes by months. For a healthy 30-year-old, waiting might be frustrating. For a 75-year-old in pain, it's a serious quality of life issue. That's why increasing numbers of retirees are exploring medical tourism and overseas retirement. In countries like Malaysia, Thailand, and Mexico, private hospitals offer world-class care, often led by Western-trained doctors, at a fraction of Australian prices. Appointments are fast, treatments are modern, and service is personal. In fact, some seniors are choosing to relocate permanently to these destinations not just for lifestyle, but for health security. They get access to affordable private healthcare, on-demand services, and less red tape, all without blowing their retirement savings. It's a difficult decision, but one that more Australians are making every year. Because when your health is on the line, waiting months and paying thousands isn't just inconvenient, it's unsustainable. Number 1. Tax rule tightening for retirees. When it comes to retirement, every dollar counts, especially when you're living on a fixed income. But what many Australian seniors don't realize is that recent and upcoming tax changes could leave them with less money in their pockets, particularly if they have superannuation savings, overseas investments, or plans to retire abroad. In recent years, the Australian government has made several adjustments to how foreign income, capital gains, and self-managed super funds, SMSFs, are taxed. While these changes are often aimed at high-income earners or tax avoiders, they're also affecting ordinary retirees, especially those with property or assets held overseas, or those living part-time in another country. For example, retirees who own property abroad or earn passive income from international sources may now be facing double taxation, depending on their residency status. The rules surrounding tax residency have tightened, meaning that even short stints overseas could trigger changes in how your entire income is taxed. One wrong move, and you could find yourself paying tax in both Australia and your country of residence. Even within Australia, changes to the way superannuation is taxed after the transfer balance cap means that some retirees are now seeing higher tax liabilities than expected, particularly those with larger nest eggs or SMSFs. As a result, many financially savvy retirees are looking to countries with more favorable tax systems for pensioners. Nations like Portugal, Malaysia, and Panama offer significant tax exemptions for foreign retirees, meaning your money goes further without being eaten away by unnecessary tax bills. The bottom line? The rules are changing, and they're not always changing in your favor. To protect your retirement income, it might be time to look beyond Australia's borders, or risk losing more of what you've worked your whole life to build. So, there you have it. 10 powerful reasons why more and more Australian seniors are quietly planning to leave the country before 2026. And as we've seen, it's not just one factor driving this shift. It's a combination of rising costs, tighter policies, health concerns, and a deep emotional pull towards something better, more affordable, more stable, more connected. For some, the idea of moving overseas sounds risky, even extreme. But for others, it's starting to look like the most practical and empowering decision they could make. Whether it's the promise of better healthcare, tax relief, or simply being closer to family, thousands of retirees are no longer waiting for the system to work in their favor. They're taking matters into their own hands. But here's the truth. It's not about running away. It's about reclaiming control of your retirement, your peace of mind, and your quality of life. You've worked hard for decades. You deserve to live where you're valued, where your money stretches further, and where you feel truly at home. So now, we turn it over to you. Are you considering retiring overseas? Which of these 10 reasons spoke to you the most? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more real talk on retirement and lifestyle, and check out our next video. Top 5 countries for Aussies to retire comfortably in 2025. Because when it comes to retirement, staying informed isn't just smart, it's essential.